Okay, so here we go. Hold this over. Cranks over really well. It's looking like right now we need to address a fuel issue. So it looks like we're gonna look into the carburetor. Now it's pretty simple. You got a screw on either side there. Then you got these just screwed on. Just don't drop anything down the carburetor. Also there's a hose right under here and you pull it up. Then while I'm working on it, I'll probably just put something over top of this, just make sure I can't drop nothing in it. Where the problem lies is the bolts holding the carburetor on come from up underneath. And almost looks like you have to take the manifold off. So what we're going to do is, first thing I think is try to get some of this crap out of there so we can see more. And I'm wondering about just taking the top off the carburetor and see what we see. I mean, of course, come to worst, we can always take it off. I think I'm going to try to take this off and see if I can try to catch any fuel that comes out of there, if I can get that out of there. Ain't gonna hurt the thing anyway, it'll be under. Okay, this, you could access the main jet right here. This also acts like a bowl drain. And I had to spray some carburetor cleaner and stuff, clean some of this up because I couldn't get the cup in there without getting dirt in it. The reason I want to put the cup in there, because I want to see what does drain out of here. You know, if I catch it in something, like that little plastic cup, I can see if there's water, dirt, whatever in there. So let's see what we get. Okay, we got nothing. Alright. Let me look in there. I don't know if I can get you to look in there or not. Yep, there's a main jet in there. Can't tell a little bit of liquid in it or if it's a little pluggish. But here's the thing. We know we had fuel coming out of the pump. So it has to come up to the carburetor, and we have nothing here. So the only thing can be either this line right here plugged up that actually went to the carburetor, or the needle valve must be stuck. If the float was heavy and sinking, it would make it just gush fuel all the time through there because the needle valve would never close. It looks like the needle valve might be in a stuck closed or something, and that's why we have no fuel down here. So I guess our next step is, seeing as how this is so hard to get these carburetors off here, and it's easy to take the top off and we get to the needle valve, I think I'm just going to take the needle or the set of screws out up here at the top of the carburetor, and then if I remember right, these will just pull right off, and then we can access the needle valve that should be in there and make sure we have this hose opened up and everything. So I guess we're going to pull that top off there. You're going to want somewhere safe to put all your screws at. I'll bring you back when I get all these off of here. Okay, let's see what we get. Now, a gasket, there it come up. I was going to say, if the gasket doesn't come up, I wouldn't use this one, I'd use a clean one. But you can kind of work the gasket, that way you know it ain't going to tear on you. So right in here, be the float and the needle. Oops, I dropped the needle. If you ever rebuild one of these or whatever, you can replace these with brass. They're a lot better. Okay, so one thing I do want to do, I want to take this fuel line that I disconnected off the pump and I'll blow up in there. You can see that is clear. Needle valve did come up, so what I think I'm gonna do right now is clean up down in here, and we'll wash it out that hole over there where the jet is. We'll clean the needle valve and everything, and then we'll see what we get. I don't know how good you can see it. Back in there you can see a little brass jet. I don't know how good you're gonna see down in there, but there is some gunk down in there. And we'll clean this out, make sure the sides of the needle valve are as important as the tip, because a lot of times it sticks on the sides of the needle valve. So we'll try to clean all this up, spray this all out with carburetor cleaner, and maybe if I have to, I'll take some Q-tips or something and try to get anything that might, be left in there. And then we'll see what happens. You can also take a Q-tip down in there and scrub a little bit. Okay, so I took an air hose and blowed down every one of these. I got that a lot cleaner in there. I also blew down through here and let a lot of air come out that way. I know that if the fuel we had should be able to come in here now. Okay. Now this little thing that holds the float, I took it out and cleaned it. I cleaned the float up a little bit, and all I did was just took a little bit of Scotch-Brite in that little rubber tip. You want to make sure you don't damage that little rubber tip. That's why I didn't really want to spray carburetor cleaner and stuff on it. If you notice, this just has a slot. See, there's a needle valve. You just slide it back in there, tip hanging down, and you just carefully drop it down in the carburetor. If you want to, you can just stuff a little, don't get nothing stuck down there, but you can stuff just something in there if you want to. Make sure you don't drop the needle valve in there. And it's in there, and I'm gonna put the top back on it, put the fuel line back on, hook the battery ground up, and we'll just see. Oh, we got to put that plug in over there for the main valve, the bowl grade. And the top, you just set it down on top. Now, like I say, I took compressed air and blew through every passage and through that jet, and I'll do the same on the top, anything, and then we'll see what happens here. Okay, so I'm gonna crank this for a minute. I'm just gonna crank it for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna check where I had that, a helpful hint. Turn the fuel on over there before you try this. So I thought, well, it's about ready to start. I hand choked it because I don't have the choke hooked up right yet. I hand choked it to get it run. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean up around in here a little bit more. Try to get some more of that out. You want to get as much of the dirt and the crap. Everything runs cooler. And once I get that cleaned up a little bit, I'll put this all back together. That's warm now. I'll put that all back together and I'll check to make sure. Check, double check, and triple check. Make sure you're not leaking fuel out of that. And remember, even as a 3/4 head on that, this is very, very, very soft stuff, so don't over tighten these screws, and definitely be careful with that plug. So what I need to do now is just bolt these tins back on and this upper piece here. Now the choke, I have it pushed all the way in, and put it back in. Now when I adjust this, I push the choke all the way in and make sure this is all the way open when I tighten this down wherever it's open at, and then I work the choke, make sure it goes all the way closed and comes back all the way open. And then we just do the same thing. We put the air cleaner on there, the 3 bolts for that plastic piece and the 2 bolts, and put this thing all back together, and it should be ready to go as far as running wise. The next thing we'll do is we're going to check the charging system over there and see why it's not charging. Hopefully it's not the stator, and Then we're going to check the PTO clutch. Maybe we'll check the air gap and do an ohms test and some different things on this in a video here. So